Hey there, this is Jackie of the Maiden Voyage podcast, and you're listening to the episode where we dive into traveling for work and all of its trials and tribulations.
Maiden Voyage is a podcast recorded by the women of Impulse Creative.
We are CEOs, salespeople, project managers, writers, and marketers. We're also wives, rad moms, remote employees all over the country, in-house staff, empowered single ladies, and all-around ass kickers.
There's a lot of challenges we face, overcome, and share that make our voyage different than those of the men we work with. This is our journey.
This week's episode is brought to you by Impulse Creative. Welcome to Maiden Voyage. Today we are sadly down a mermaid, but the four of us you have are really excited to talk about traveling to work, whether it's going to your headquarters, traveling to and from conferences, and just really being like a lady out there in the business world hustling. So some of us in past lives have commuted for work regularly, and that is its own ball game. Some of us have, like myself, been in outside sales and spent a lot of time behind the wheel, and we all currently attend conferences and travel down to sunny Florida to visit our headquarters rather regularly. And we've picked up some little tricks and tips along the way that have made it really successful for us to have a safe, comfortable, and really fun trip. Conference season, at least it is for some of us. And I just recently went to a conference. We have some conferences coming up the end of the summer, early fall. And I love a conference. I'm a super nerd. I've been going to conferences and traveling for business work most of my career. And I've come up with some tips and tricks along the way that help me, really, it's like, how do I decrease my anxiety, stay totally sane in the process, and just make it the most enjoyable opportunity that I can make it. And I know that we all have some things that we do, whether it's just like traveling, to the office in the morning. Rachel, you have a short commute, but you still do things to keep yourself successful. And then, Courtney being recently remote, there's a lot of things that you've learned about when you come to HQ and don't have your own house to go to, kind of what you need to do. So, Jen, you and I do a lot of traveling, and we're going to a conference later this summer together, inbound in Boston. So why don't you start us off with maybe some things that you're doing to prepare either for Boston or things you've done in the past that make you successful?
I think for me, preparation is key. Some people are really great at working on the fly. They're like, whatever, I'm just going to go and wing it kind of thing. And for me, that does not work. If I ill prepare, I will kind of be miserable the entire trip. So for me, the process kind of starts early, like a week or two before I know that I'm going to be traveling. I'll start making a written list of things that I need to remember to bring.
For sure.
And start crossing things off as I slowly prepare them. I'm also the worst night before packer or anything, so I cannot do that. I
feel like if I pack the night before, everything comes. There's not a decision-making process. This shirt, I haven't worn, this is the classic, I haven't worn my prom dress. I'm just going to bring you never know, I'm bringing my prom dress. I bring everything. That is when I overpack, is when I wait till the last minute. I think preparation is key for not overpacking.
Yes, I 100% agree. And another point that because I've traveled a lot now for work, like you said, we go to Florida a lot, we go to conferences. For me, it's understanding that I don't need to bring everything, and less is more. And the world is not going to come crashing down if I forget something, because I can easily get it. If I forget to pack toothpaste, whatever, I'm just going to pick it up while I'm there.
Our go-to in when we're traveling as a family, if we forgot something, I'm like, we'll buy it when we get there.
Right.
I'm not going to lose my mind over forgetting the toothpaste.
But some people become paralyzed by that, and they have such crippling anxiety, and they can't move past that. And the experience becomes miserable. They're not even looking forward to traveling anymore because they're so worried about all of those things. I think one of my biggest things that I need to know is that I get hangry, and I'm not pleasant when I'm hungry. So I always pack snacks. So I'm that kind of person that I'll bring apples with me, or I'll bring a banana and pack it on top so it doesn't get squished, and bars, that kind of thing. So that helps to keep my sanity. I feel like the biggest tip that I could share with anyone is bring a reusable bottle. So I always bring a Camelback or some form of water bottle that I empty before security check and fill up at the airport, so that I'm never thirsty. And I use it all throughout my trips as well. So
Yeah.
Never even thought of that.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
How about you, Court? Now you're not an HQer anymore. You've been heading down to the other side of the state a little more frequently.
I have. One thing that comes to mind, though, not HQ related, but I just remember last year going to Inbound. We also ended up going to Nantucket to visit a client, and I would probably say my biggest advice is pack for all different types of weather, because weather apps are not reliable. I was expecting, Nantucket. It's like September, so it's like just the end of summer, so like not quite fall yet. So I was expecting to be wearing like shorts, like being on the beach and like soaking up the sun. Not the case. I was absolutely freezing, and like thank goodness I brought a jean jacket because I did not take that thing off. But like I remember Jen and I ended up having to buy like gear to prepare for the weather, and like it was like unbearably cold. And I mean, like I'm a Florida girl, like 70 degrees is like parka weather almost for us. Like, so if I could offer one sort of tip is just be ready. Bring a jacket.
Pack a layer.
Exactly. Yeah. Layers is key.
I remember Remington was freezing on that trip too, and he ended up buying several hoodies.
Oh yeah, we would like go to the beach to take pictures, and like I take like a few on my phone. Like they're probably like all blurry because like I'm shaking, and I'm like, I'll be in the van, guys. Like
we looked like such tourists. All of us were wearing like Nantucket swag.
I know. I still rock that shirt. I love that shirt, but man, we were freezing.
So when it comes to packing, I have a strategy. Even like, for example, I did it this morning before we started work. I'm going to the Atlantic City this weekend with my girlfriends, and like I'm not even messing around. I'm bringing one outfit. And so my strategy is I try everything on. Yep. So I build an outfit. I'm like, this is the top that I'm wearing with this pants, and these are the earrings, and this is the necklace. Like I literally get head to toe dressed as if I'm wearing that outfit. And then when I go, I also roll all my clothes and put them in little bags. So I have like, this is my little underwear zip, and this is my like sock zip, and this is my jewelry zip, and this is my top zip. So I have like these little compartments that I roll my clothes and then put them in after they've been tried on, and I have my outfits. There's no going back. Like I don't. And then I also try to pack like the same color wheelhouse. So like if I'm going to be in like the black zone with silver jewelry, I stay in the black zone and silver jewelry so I can like mix and match my jewels and my shoes to whatever outfits I'm bringing. And I have found that to help me with overpacking as well, is that like I like what I'm wearing. I feel confident before I pack it. So like it makes my mornings at like, cause conferences, you're up early. When we come to HQ, we're up early, and I don't want to have to like think about it either. So it makes my mornings a lot smoother when I'm traveling, if like my stuff is like alphabetized. And then you can mix and match because everything's like in the same color wheelhouse. So those are like three things that I do when it comes to like packing for a trip. I'm kind of a psycho about it. I even do it for my daughter. I like compartmentalize her stuff too.
I love that though.
It just makes it so easy when I get there. And then when everything's dirty, you can put them in these little compartments, because I don't unpack. Like Jen, I've stayed with you in hotels and I feel like you unpack.
So I unpack shirts that I need, like stuff that needs to be hung to like unwrinkle. So like if I brought like a nice blouse or like a dress that would get all creased, I will unpack that hanging on their little hangers, but I'm not unpacking everything.
So I don't unpack.
I unpack everything.
You unpack, right. Okay. So like I keep my dirty laundry in the empty containers. So like all the dirty laundry is then contained for when I fly back, so that my clean clothes versus so I have like that whole little system that I play.
I take a little laundry bag.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. And so when we're traveling for flight, like what are some things that we do like for the airport? For example, like I download the app and get my boarding pass and do all of that and like decide what time I have to leave for the airport, like obviously, but I like to be there early because I don't want to rush. I don't want to get sweaty. I don't want to be anxious. What if there's an accident or like there are so many uncontrollables when you travel in general, specifically when you're flying, that I like to give myself plenty of time. Like I would rather have a drink and read a book at the airport than be running to the gate. I've done that before. We almost missed our flight to our honeymoon because we were in the wrong terminal and we didn't know it. And like literally running, they held the plane for us. I don't ever want to be in that situation again. It was like so nerve-wracking.
I've been there once before. It's
terrible.
But it was like a connecting flight. So yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. My family, like we're from the Midwest, so we're like extremely early and like punctual to everything. So my family's like the type of people that's like, we need to be there like 3 hours before the flight, which is like, okay, that's a little much. But like, I think you should just, like you said, earlier the better. Like show up in time to have a beer and unwind before you have to get on the flight.
Amen.
I think my tip would probably be like to go prepared. If you're not using an app, make sure you print out your boarding pass and you have your driver's license, you have your passport if you need it, you have everything you need to get through security. Accessible. Don't wear belts. Don't wear closed-toed shoes because they're going to make him take them off. And wear flip-flops, and that way you won't get hot on the plane anyway, unless it's, Nantucket, then you're screwed either way. But yeah, that's my little piece of advice. But I'm all digital now, so.
Mine is to like not forget, like if you drive to the airport, like a few things around that, like the day beforehand, get gas so you're not having to stop for gas on the way there.
Yep.
I've been in the situation where I'm like, I'm going to make it. I'm on one bar. And then when you land later and you're like, and you want to get home, you're like, shit, now I got to get gas. And I always, Jackie, when we started traveling together, gave me the advice of always park in the same spot in the lot every time you go. So I'm in this section, and I always take a picture of the specific sign on my phone. Yep. Sometimes I'm even like a crazy person and I'll like stand afar and be like, what other cars are around here? So, because there's probably a big chance that some of the vehicles that are next to you, if there's a Hummer that's parked there and it stands out, maybe it'll be there when you come back and you'll know how to find your car.
I always park at the same shuttle in the Philadelphia economy lot. It used to be J and now it's Red 9. They on me. They switched it up. But yeah, we always park. And like when my husband's driving, if we're going on vacation and he tries to park somewhere else, I can't handle it. I'm like, nope, this is where we park. It is here's why. I'm giving away a secret, all of you Philadelphia Flyers. So the shuttle picks up first at this shuttle. So you are guaranteed to get on, because if you're halfway through the pickups and the shuttle's full, you got to wait for the next one. And that drives me crazy. So this is like literally the second pickup, because there's one right before it and no one is ever at that shuttle station. So I'm always like the first person on the bus. I can sit wherever I want. I can put my luggage where I need to go. And it just makes me really happy.
Right. I 100% agree. When you first showed me that trick, I will never go back again to winging it. I like the structure.
Yeah. And then maybe we can talk about, because we've all been to conferences, like specific things you do at a conference. So like at Inbound, I only wear like flats and sneakers, and I pack multiple pairs of them because of rubbing and chafing. And so like I'm writing a blog that all of you readers or all you listeners can read about surviving Inbound specifically, and like little tricks I found about like bathrooms and stuff that Inbound. But I always pack multiple pairs of comfortable shoes, because even if they're your favorite sneakers, girl, they gonna rub after you've been walking in them for a few hours every day.
My first time at Inbound, I did not know that, and I took really cute stilettos.
No.
And my feet looked horrible by the end of the day. And my feet were so swollen, I couldn't get them into my shoes the next morning. So yeah, I think my tip would be, in your purse or fanny pack or backpack, whatever you take with you, take like the blister like gel or cream or chapstick or whatever. I had one at one point, was so desperate I put chapstick on my feet.
Deodorant.
To try and just lubricate my feet. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely great advice. And like bring a sweater, because sometimes in those conference rooms, you're all dressed up in a cute little outfit and they pump the air and you're freezing. And like Courtney mentioned earlier, you're so uncomfortable when you're in a state of cold that I always just bring a little sweater that I can stick in my bag.
Always. I always bring like a jacket or a sweater or something. And something else I discovered at Inbound, and really not any other conference, because Inbound is it's digital focused. So like, I feel like I'm on my phone so much more there than I have been at other conferences. A charging pack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Charging at Inbound is drama. And I'll share about some secret charging spots I found, but like, I've had to leave a session because I didn't have any power in anything, and you have to like fight for outlets there. So I know Remington had that big pack last year. I'm actually going to get something for myself this year because it's very important.
To add on to that, to bring something that you can carry that in, because those things are heavy.
Right.
Yeah, I was actually told during one session last year, like I was charging my laptop while taking notes in the middle of a session, and I was not allowed to use the outlet to charge it. Yeah, so make sure your stuff is charged before you get into a session. You're going to take notes on your laptop.
Yep. And that's also something I learned from somebody a long time ago, was fully charge your stuff before you leave. Like the hotel, your house, wherever. Like going to the airport with a non-full charge device. It happened to me last year on the way home from Inbound. My flight was delayed. I got stuck on a plane. My husband actually called the airport looking for me, thinking I was like missing because it'd been hours and he couldn't contact me. It was terrible.
I remember that.
Well, I have been put in timeout because of that. And like he checks my devices because I just like wasn't thinking, and we had a long day of conferences. We left and I didn't make it home for like 9 hours, and I should have been home 9 hours before that.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So charge your
anytime you stop, just plug in.
Yeah.
If you are like 90%, just plug in.
Right. This is kind of interesting. I might be the only one who does this, but I know people who travel for work often say like, they don't bring their workout gear, like, oh, I'll get back into it when I get home. I'm the complete opposite. I find that I have more freedom in my schedule, like as a mom and a wife. When I'm home, I have all these other responsibilities that I have to tackle besides work to get my sweat on for the day. And when I'm traveling, I don't have anything to do except go to work. And so I find that it's a really good time for me to re-engage in working out every day, because I don't always have that opportunity at home, which I know is a little backwards for some people. So I always bring workout clothes with me. And even at our conferences, when I come down to HQ, I work out like at least 50% of the days that I'm there, if not more. Again, because I'm used to waking up at 5:30 every morning, but I don't have to be anywhere at 6 a.m. Like 6 a.m. is when my day starts here. I got a kid that wakes up. Like I got my morning routine. I'm on go mode from 6 a.m. And I have that extra hour when I travel to like watch the news or have a cup of coffee in peace. So I take that time to work out. I don't know about you ladies when you travel though.
I opt for the coffee and just watching whatever reality TV is on.
I think it depends what we're doing and where we go. Like when we go to a conference, I am exhausted at the end of the day and in the mornings because you're on your feet a lot, you're walking. It's very mentally straining as well. But if we're just visiting HQ, I mean, obviously you're working still, but I'm not on my feet all day. So sometimes it feels nice to work out.
Yeah.
But if I'm at a conference, no way, Jose. But you always still do. You're so ambitious. That's incredible. I wish I had that like pep in my step.
Yeah, I'm definitely jealous, Jackie. I wish I had that motivation. And I always, every time I travel anywhere, I'm like always packing gym clothes. Like ask Jen, the last time we were at HQ, how many times did I tell you, like, I'm going to work out. Yeah. And then like I have a glass of wine and I'm like, I think I could still do it. And then we get back to the hotel. I'm like, not going to happen.
Well, I'll never work out after I drink. Jen did once. We were at HQ and we had to drink He worked out, and I was like, I feel like I called my husband and was like, babe, she just drank and went to the gym. I don't understand what's happening. Like, how did she do that?
You like sweat out the toxins. It's not great.
Like, that's how she did that.
Get it, girl. I don't even know. For me, it's in the mornings if it happens at all. However, I will say when I am in Florida, I love to go run because it's flat. It is not flat where I live. So anywhere I run, I have to run downhill to get there and uphill to run back. So I really enjoy running when I'm in Florida because it's just one flat road. Food. You girls know this is a big deal for me. Like, I drink my smoothies every morning and I bring it with me. And because it saves me money, I don't have to buy breakfast. I can shake it up and take it with me. And so, like Jen had said earlier, like packing for the plane, I also pack for the hotel because there is nothing more terrible, speaking from experience, when you've had a few drinks. And Danielle, if you're listening, coming back to the hotel and having to eat Doritos out of the machine on the first floor because there's nothing to eat that late at night. Impulse Creative Christmas Party. So I always pack, like, even if it's just peanut butter crackers, something of sustenance that, like, if I have drinks or I'm just really hungry, I've got a little something in my room I know I can count on.
Wasn't my fault you guys closed the house down.
We were so hungry. I've never eaten so many bags of Cheetos in a hallway before.
Not only that, you either have the option to eat the vending machine or the $15 granola bar that they offer.
Right. Or the greasy chicken fingers or whatever that other option is. Like, I know that we all try to, like, really focus on trying to sustain a healthy lifestyle, which I love about us. But sometimes when you're on the road, it's challenging. So pack what you know you need. Like Anise Kavanaugh, I'm giving you a shout out, Anise. I saw that she just recently traveled. And I don't know if you guys saw her on Instagram or social media, but she took like the menu for breakfast and all she wanted was eggs and hot water. So she was circled like the continental breakfast and crossed out like, I don't want the bread. I don't want this. And she wrote a note that was like, I want 3 hard-boiled eggs and a bowl of hot water with lemon. And that was it. And so don't be afraid to ask for what you want or change the menu or make changes to a menu to sustain your goals and your needs. You don't need to like travel for work and feel like you have to just cave into the things around you. Like, hold your ground on what's important to you. Like, if you have to have breakfast, tell your boss you need to stop on the way to the office for breakfast. There's no shame in knowing what you need and asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
I'm opposite. I mean, I agree with that and it is great, but I'm like, I am on vacation or I'm in a new place. I'm going to try everything and all that I can eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to stuff my face. So
I feel like I do that at dinner. I like dinner time.
Yeah. If you are going to be drinking at these events, which we all do, there's no shame in having a cocktail. Like Jen said, a reusable water bottle is key, but if not, just like, please drink some water because you're going to be on your feet. You're already all messed up from flying and driving. And, you know, I tend to retain water when I'm in different places and get all swole. So the more water you take in, the better my like rings get stuck and I get all swole, you know? So drink a lot of water when you travel. That's only going to make you feel better and keep your digestive tract in line because that tends to get out of whack when you travel as well. So I guess the moral story here, if we're trying to pitch, is like, do you bring what you need to make you sane? Keeping yourself calm and less anxious is like going to be the name of the game, and just be safe while you're out there. So Rachel, I love that you want to talk to us about just being safe while we travel, right?
Yep. I traveled a lot in high school as I had a long distance boyfriend, and I just traveled a lot alone at 16, 17. And I just was always making sure that I was aware of my surroundings. I would figure out where I'm supposed to go prior to going there, so I'm not looking lost and looking like a lost little duckling.
Yeah.
And I would know which terminal I needed to go to, and I would make sure if I went anywhere, I'd go with somebody. just make sure that you're always safe, because, you know, it's not safe for men or women or children or anything. You can't trust anyone these days, it seems.
I think that if you're going to be Ubering, Jen, you had a great point, like to check the rating, you said?
Yeah, so on Uber and Lyft, a lot of times, I hope I'm not wrong, I thought that there's ratings on there where you can check how many trips they've done in the past and what previous riders have said about their experience with that person. I think if you want, you can even request somewhere in the settings in the apps if you're a female and you only want female drivers, something like that. I could be wrong. We should check up on that and maybe share it on our page if that's accurate, because that would be really cool.
I also, like, after what happened to that poor young girl recently at college, I always have them say my name, right? And like, I asked their name. That girl got like murdered after getting into.
She got kidnapped and murdered.
He wasn't an Uber driver, though.
Got
in the wrong car.
Yeah, I always check the license plate before I get in.
Yeah, I check the license plate, and you ask them to confirm your name. Because if you're like, hey, John, and he's like, yeah, I'm John. Well, anyone can be
like, John. I've almost gotten in the car with my weird old neighbor in Fort Myers. Like, he was literally about to, like, allow my friend and I to get in his car. And then I was like, wait a second, what's your name? And he's like, we were all so confused. But I was also like, dude, this guy was just about to, like, let us get in his car. And, like, who knows what would have happened. And
so that's what they
friends.
You and get them to say your name. Because they know your name from the app, and you ask them what their name is.
Yeah, very weird. Yeah, I've had friends like go home. Like one of my friends, she like got home and realized that she doesn't even know who took her home. Like it wasn't the Uber like that she requested. Like she's lucky that whoever the hell she got in the car with like took her home and was like, I guess, somewhat nice, but that could have gone so badly.
And it can be kind of awkward being like, who are you? What's your name? But like, I kind of make light of it. So when we get picked up in Florida by like an Uber, I'm always like, oh, I have and I'm like, all right, blue Honda Accord. Okay. And you are, and he's like, he says my name. He's like, you're Jackie. I'm like, yeah. Like I make it like a cheeky kind of thing instead of this like accusatory thing. And he knows like every Uber driver I've had has always said like made a point to be like, you're Jackie, this is my name. Like they've always made me feel very comfortable that like they know what people have heard and seen in the news. And I think, let's be honest, I hope and pray that most people out there in this universe aren't trying to hurt you. And most Uber drivers, like 99% of them are good people just trying to like sustain life like the rest of us, right? But because there is the 1% of people who ruin everything, all the good stuff, just be careful and like do the right things when you travel. Keep your head on a swivel and be careful walking. I don't park in parking garages anymore just because they freak me out. Like I prefer to park on the street or an open lot. And you know, just make smart
or within like line sight of somewhere that people can see you.
Right. Yeah. Like make smart decisions. Trust your gut. Just be careful.
And when you get in the car, like drive away right away. Like that. Like if I learned it. So I was actually like carjacked at gunpoint. Like
remember that
I was 22 in the gym.
You were?
Yeah. Like, and I was very oblivious to my surroundings and very like trusting of people. It was like 7 o'clock. But it was daylight saving. So it was darker. And I got in the car and like, I like didn't drive away right away. Like I was like on my phone, like turned my car on, cracked my windows. And like, I look and there's like a gun through the crack of my window, like at my head. The guy's yelling like, get out of the car, like keep your keys in. So like after that, I'm like obviously very shook. And like now when I go anywhere by myself at night, I'm like literally like looking around everywhere to make sure like my surroundings are safe. There's no one like sketchy around. And like I'll get in my car and I'll turn it on and I'll drive away. Like I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna like be answering texts. Like get in your car and just get out of there. You never know who's.
I read an article, actually, it was along those lines, and it was women have a tendency to get into their car and, you know, work on their checkbook or go through their receipts and look at their phone or whatever it be, and they just sit there. So maybe we should share it in our post, but it was really interesting. Even getting gas when you get out, make sure that your passenger side door is locked.
It's locked.
So that nobody can get in. Yeah.
I never thought to do that.
I do that. I always do that because I keep my purse like on my passenger side. I don't want anyone coming in. And now that like I have a kid in the back seat, I lock all the doors. I will lock myself out before I let anybody in that car.
Yeah.
I even like cover stuff. Like if you leave a bag in the car and it looks valuable, my mom always is like, keep a blanket in your car and put the blanket on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
I'll put things in my trunk, and like if I'm going to the gym or something, I'll put my purse or something in my trunk before I get to the destination, because I don't want anyone to see me
do that. My car got broken into and they stole my purse and all my life. It was terrible. Yeah. Yeah. I came out of the gym and the window was shattered and I was like, well, that's what you get for going to the gym.
Well, just don't trust anybody. Like I literally would lock my door just to check my mailbox, because it's crazy what people are capable of.
Unfortunately. So moral of the story, make smart decisions, trust your gut, use your head. Okay, ladies?
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Maiden Voyage. Until next time, remember, stay your course. This is your voyage. Make it amazing.
Sadly, that'll do it for this week's episode of Maiden Voyage. We'd like to thank you, our amazing listeners, because, let's face it, lady life is hard. It's incredible how much we accomplish every day, and we all deserve awards just for existing. If you're watching the show, make sure that you subscribe, click on that thing for instant notifications, speak your mind in the comments, and share us with your fellow Voyagers.